from clarkwoods.com.
I totally psyched you out.
It's Horribly Off Topic. Episode number 174. I'm Chris.
And I'm Steve. And so right before he pressed record last time, I went, from...
And so I didn't know if something else.
If I was going to do it again, so he pushed the button and waited for me to do it, and then I didn't do it. And it just completely
you're
threw him
just
off.
the best friend ever.
I am.
You know, you just like to throw me for a curve, a loop.
I mean, we can't. I mean, the last number of weeks we've done a pretty standard open, so I needed to mix up.
Mix up the Fruit Loops and the Cherry Loops and the. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Cherry Loops? Is that
Cherry
a thing?
Loops? No, I think Cherry Loops are part of the Fruit Loops package. I think if you want just Cherry Loops, you'd have to write to the General Mills Corporation or whoever it is that does that. Is it General Mills or Kellogg's?
I think Kellogg's makes Fruit Loops.
Oh, okay.
Well, I actually have, like, this is not something that I did often as a youth.
Yeah.
As far as mixing cereal, the only cereal I think I mixed when I was younger was peanut butter puffs and Cocoa Puffs.
Oh.
Because there was two, like, chocolate and peanut butter.
That's
and then they started
getting Reese's Puffs before Reese's Puffs existed, right?
No, it was Reese's Puffs.
Oh, it was Reese's Puffs. Oh, yeah. So Reese's Puffs are just...
It was just peanut butter to start with.
I would have thought they would have had both. Okay.
No, they didn't. But so, like, then it became both of them, and so it became the thing that I was doing before,
right,
all mushed up into one.
Do you think the man was spying on your house and saying, you know what, this kid's onto something? And that's when they created things. I mean...
No.
But today, in today's day and age, you know, anything my children do is probably being recorded by like 3 or 4 different companies, and they're all deciding what the future is going to be based on what the kids today do.
Chris, let me break it to you, real easy. We have no future.
Well, you know, the children are our future.
I mean, yes.
Teach them well and let them lead the way.
Yeah, let's hope that they can make it to a ripe old age.
They possess the beauty they possess inside,
and not just be hooked up into a giant machine or whatever else, put into indentured servitude or whatever else that might happen.
Hey, as long as they believe the steak is steak, that's all that matters.
Is it a red pill?
I'd like my red pill medium red. Yeah. What were we talking about?
Cereal. Oh yeah.
Sorry,
I've recently taken to mixing cereals a little bit because I'm Captain, low sugar or no sugar.
Yeah.
So the cereal I usually get is like Cheerios or something like that, which has I think
it's good for your heart.
Well, they allege that. I think like the American Heart Association is saying that they maybe stop saying that because it might not be, but but whatever. It's not as bad for you as like I guess like
Frosted Flakes,
the giant box of sugar that you would have anywhere else.
Right.
So yeah, I get that, and then we got peanut butter puffins.
Okay,
which are kind of like peanut butter crunch, like the Captain Crunch peanut butter variety. Yeah. So I put a little bit of that in.
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
And then most of the rest of the bowl is the Cheerios.
Yeah,
or it's Joe's O's.
Joe's O's.
Trader Joe's is O's.
Oh, okay. And so let me ask
Trader Joe's Joe's O's.
Let me ask you this. Is there milk going in there? And if so, what kind of milk?
Almond milk.
Almond milk. Okay, so no
unsweetened almond milk.
Unsweetened.
I am just like I have gotten to be an old person.
You gotten to be an old hipster.
Why is that? Why is almond milk a hipster thing?
I don't know. My wife was doing the almond milk for a while. I think that.
Your wife's a hipster? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know. I think she might be bordering on.
She drinks tall cans of PBR. I've seen her.
Yeah, no, she doesn't drink.
Yeah, I know.
She
rides a bicycle.
What's that?
She rides a bicycle around.
Yeah, she
wears skinny jeans.
She has a bicycle in the barn.
What's the name of some of them other hipster things?
Those other hipster
she lives in Brooklyn.
Oh no, she hates the city. So almond milk and unsweetened. Okay, yeah, I think that pretty with a spoon.
No, I eat it just like I just shove my face into it.
No, maybe you pick it up and you do some sort of Zen thing where you sip at it really. You pick up two hands on one on either side.
And I just wait for it to get mushy enough to drink.
And you just sort of you sip at it. I don't know. Maybe you're trying to save utensils.
I am not.
And you're trying to not create as many dishes because you are conscious of the planet.
No, but like when I load the dishwasher, it's full when I run it.
Oh.
And silverware. Like that area of the dishwasher never gets full, even if we use all the silverware.
Okay.
So that is not something that's going to be an issue. Ever.
It must be nice to have a dishwasher.
Yeah. Well, usually it's me if it's not the dishwasher.
I can't say for a while it was me, but now it's sort of evenly distributed. Maybe even Stephanie does a little bit more of it.
Becky, for the most part, makes dinner.
Right. You do the dishes,
and I often do the dishes because I dislike cooking.
Yeah.
And so
I dislike activity in general.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like doing the dishes either, but I don't want to be an asshole and not do them and not cook.
Yeah. Chores just in general. I just wish I could hire a person do all the chores.
You never know.
Maybe I got to write a few bestsellers and then I'll.
I talked to some people that have purchased your book.
We don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but yes, you mentioned this to me.
Yeah.
So some people have bought it.
And Becky has started reading it, and she is liking it so far.
I know.
I suck at reading.
Well, my wife hasn't started.
I fall asleep reading one chapter of One Piece. How the fuck am I going to read a book?
I don't know. I have trouble. I mean, I've been plowing through more stuff recently. I just finished 2 books in the last couple of days, but that was because I was reading one of them on my phone during my lunch break, and the other one I was reading at home at bedtime. So I just happened to finish both of those up, and I started something new yesterday. And I'm making better progress than I used to, but I'm a slow reader myself.
Yeah, I've never been a speedy reader. I mean, I think the first delve into a large novel that I ever sort of, and it was a fantasy novel, and it was not The Lord of the Rings, it was The Wheel of Time.
Yeah.
And The Eye of the World, and that was the first largish book that I sort of actually no.
You got to correct yourself.
The Stand.
Like the original version, or there was a revised version?
The revised version for the 90s. It was after the miniseries came out, and we were all fucking in love with it. And I think this is one of the drinking game things. If we talk about Stephen King's The Stand, whether miniseries or book, I think you have to drink a lot of alcohol.
I think so.
Yeah.
Now, if we talk about a Patton Oswalt guest starring spot on a Stephen King miniseries that happens to be based on part of One Piece.
Yes.
You might as well just
Stephen King writes because he's a big fan of Ichiro Oda. He writes something that into a book, and then there's a scene in the miniseries that Patton Oswalt's in. Like that is the most meta you can get as far as things that we talk about most. And it's in a strip club.
It's in a strip club. Yes. Oh gosh,
and they're drinking Narragansetts.
I tried reading a whole. I mean, we talked about this before. I tried reading a whole bunch of Stephen King and Clive Barker and Anne Rice way back when I was too young and had no attention span. And it wasn't until years later that I finally did read The Stand. And
it's a slog. It's a long book.
It's a long book. I mean, and he talks about it in his book on writing. It was a book where at least his process at the beginning was, I'm going to write the first chapter from one character, and then I'm going to write the second chapter from another character's point of view, but then go back to the first character. And then the third chapter is going to be from yet another character's point of view, and then I'm going to go back to the first and the second characters and check in with them at the end of it. And he just kept doing that and doing that and doing that until he had way too many fucking people in his post-apocalyptic novel. Which is why you end up with a bomb in a closet out there in Denver or Boulder or wherever it is.
Right.
But
you need to kill off some of these people. There's too many.
There's too many people in my.
That's one thing that Oda doesn't do. He does not kill off characters. Because you'll be like, oh, I thought this character died. Nope, they're still alive.
Yeah.
And I one of the people I work with is I've gotten him. He got the bug, and he's somewhere in the Water 7 arc right now. And I told him people don't die in One Piece until they do. And he's like, what does that mean? And I'm like, you're going to find out eventually.
Yeah. But I return to Stephen King every once in a while.
Except in flashbacks, sorry. People die like en masse in flashbacks. Like if it's a flashback, you can guarantee that somebody or multiple people are going to die.
Because the past was tragic.
Yes. And so like the reason why the current characters are where they are is because they had a tragic past and like lost family or whatever else.
Right. And
that's how they ended up being fucking pirates. Like you don't
just like wake up one day and you're not born a pirate.
Yeah, I mean, like, what was it? Oda, I think, this is a paraphrase of a quote from him, and he was just like, yeah, like, mothers are the antithesis of pirates. So, like, you have a mother, like, that's nice and lovely in your life.
Yeah.
You're probably not going to end up as a pirate.
That seems fair. That's like the plot of Peter Pan right there. Mm-hmm. Right? You know, like, if Wendy can come in and be all their mothers, then they won't grow up to... Daddies don't let their cowboys grow up to be pirates.
Who?
I come back to Stephen King every once in a while. A couple years ago, friends of mine suggested that I read this book, 11/22/63, because I told them, like, I like Stephen King in theory, but his books are too fucking long. And so what did they do?
There's too much weird, sketchy things every once in a while.
They suggested one of his longest fucking books to date. I mean, if you've ever looked at a copy of 11/22/63, it is a huge fucking book. I don't know if it's bigger than The Stand, but it is immense.
The last Stephen King book I read was the one, like, it was funny. It was when I'm just sort of, this is just a small tangent. It was when I was living in North Carolina with Will.
Yes.
And
you would read it on your way to the strip club.
No, I only went to the strip club once.
While riding on your bike.
No, I didn't have a fucking bike.
Well, I'm just trying to set this up here. You.
I'm not a fucking hipster. I wear cargo pants. That is so not hipster.
Okay, I'm sorry. So when you were living with Will in North Carolina.
Yes. So I was living in a spare room I was sleeping on his futon. And he had a copy of the book that Stephen King wrote about the World Series that the year we won.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It was with some other dude
or something. Yeah, Faithfully. No, yeah, I don't know. Whatever.
Faithfully. And that was the last Stephen King book I read, and it wasn't very long. It was just basically but him and
Stuart Onan.
Yeah. Okay. Those two just being fans of the Sox.
I think my dad still has that on his tiny little bookshelf with the Funk and Wagnall's encyclopedias that we got
list
in the 80s.
to read. I remember I bought Jerry Remy's book, and for those of you in other parts of the country, Jerry Remy used to play second base for the Boston Red Sox. And now, I don't know, I think he still does the color commentary.
He's the Rem Dog.
Yeah, he does the color commentary for the Red Sox television broadcasts. He also is a pretty, I'd say a pretty large local celebrity.
Yes.
And he was at Lasher Park.
Oh, the Spinners.
Where the Lowell Spinners play. We're getting fucking local for you, kids.
Yep.
And I bought his book, and I got him to sign it, and I gave it to him. And I'm assuming my dad has not read a word of it.
I learned that a while ago. The video, even DVDs of things that we were sure he would like eat up. Because when we got cable, or was either when we got cable or we got a VCR for the first time, was for Live Aid. Like that was around whenever that happened, and so I knew my dad was way into it, and so. Many years ago now at this point, Live Aid came out on DVD, completely unabridged. So the entire fucking concert as it was broadcast. And we bought it for him, and then it sat unopened on his shelf for 3 or 4 years until one summer it got brought to the beach house that we rented, and he popped it in there and started watching it.
The whole thing?
Yeah, well, I don't know if he watched the whole thing.
I'd imagine like he has... the wherewithal to watch that in its entirety.
He might, yeah. Well, he's
like because he's one of those people that once he gets his mind on something, that he will do it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, but like so he the other night. I think I mentioned last week that we subscribed to Hulu and HBO Now finally, sort of after a long time of hemming and hawing about it. And And so on Friday night, we're sitting there looking for something to watch as a whole family.
And you're like, wow, Hulu's interface really blows.
I didn't.
It used to not be shitty, folks, if you just got it.
Okay, well, I didn't have the benefit of Hulu's interface ever being good.
Like hashtag Hulu, if you're listening right now, change your fucking interface back so I can more easily look through episodes and know if I've watched one or not. Or see if there's a new one. Like, 'cause let's just say... Hypothetically,
yeah.
I've watched a live episode of television.
Uh-huh.
And so I therefore don't need to watch it on Hulu anymore.
Right.
Because I've already seen it.
Yeah.
How about just have the list of the episodes like you used to have, and then I can see, the next one that I would need to watch is the one that I've already seen.
Right.
But there's a new one that I haven't watched.
Uh-huh.
But like the way it's set up now, the next one you want to watch is the next one you need to watch. So if I watched it before, like if there was like a 2-week gap that I haven't touched Hulu or whatever,
right.
But I watched whatever show, like let's say Brooklyn Nine-Nine 1 week, and I didn't the most recent week. Mm-hmm. He wants me to watch that the episode that I already did.
Yeah, that you watched just on regular TV.
And I think, So
You're really mad about this.
No, it's just. But I think it should just automatically go to the most recent episode, or show a fucking list of the episodes so I know which ones that I have and haven't seen. Motherfuckers,
those bastards.
Get with it.
So we were looking for something to watch, and I had. We can come back to this. I had 11/22/63 up there, but I said, you know what? The kids are still awake and around and kind of paying attention, so let's not do that. But we ended up on Quantum Leap, which is on Hulu. And my dad...
I think it's also on Netflix.
Yeah, maybe, but
so if you're going to watch it on Netflix so you're not watching ads.
Well, I'm paying for the Hulu with no ads.
Oh, okay.
Because I hate ads.
Yeah, no shit.
So we start watching it, and my dad points out that he's got all of these on VHS somewhere. And I'm like...
It's like, yeah, but it's better quality to watch it.
Better quality, and you could watch them right here. It's like
one after the other.
But I don't think that like sunk in. I think it was kind of just like,
let's just get out the VCR then.
Get out the VCR. We can watch them all on tape.
Why does he have all of Quantum Leap on VHS?
At some point when it was in reruns, I forget if it was on.
Oh, he taped them off TV.
He taped them off TV.
Oh shit!
Yeah, cutting out the commercials and everything. Like
that's like serious... that's something.
Except I think there's one of them that like he didn't get because the power went out during that. I don't. There's like some story there. I don't know what the story is.
That's what I used to do. Like I have a bunch of VHS at home. Mm-hmm. I have not home at my dad's house.
Yeah.
This is my home.
This is your home.
And they're not here.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they're like a bunch at my dad's house where I taped like episodes of The Simpsons, and I edited out the commercials.
Yeah.
And now, like in retrospect, I would have had less episodes per tape or whatever, but I would have the nostalgia factor of whatever ads were playing at that time, like whatever fucking blockbuster movie was coming out, like the trailers for that or.
See, that's one instance where I wouldn't mind the ads because there'd be a historical element to it.
It's just like, what the fuck were people like just seeing like ads for Surge or like some other fucking nonsense?
Well, that was so. I think that's part of the reason why time travel. To go back to 11/22/63. One of the reasons that time travel stuff is as popular as it is, especially in film, is because people can revisit parts of their youth and say, oh, I remember that, but in the context of somebody traveling back in time. And so I started watching 11/22/63 last night because everyone else had gone to bed, but I was staying up to do the laundry. And it's very different from the book, which I knew. I had the same friends who had recommended me read the book ages ago had complained very much about the quality and the content of the miniseries. But I'm kind of into it, but I also am just sort of like, I don't understand some of the changes they made. I understand one of the big changes they made, which was the location of the... you watched it like a year ago.
Yes, a year and a half, something like that.
Well, there's a plot point. Actually, the whole miniseries starts with a guy reading an essay about where he was on Halloween 1960 and how his dad came in and murdered his mother and his siblings and so on and so forth. And that's in the book, right? But in the book, that happened in Maine. So there's a lot more that happens sort of in Maine in the book. And in the movie, they make that happen in Kentucky. And so and
it's just typical liberal Hollywood, trying to make the Southerners look like a bunch of murderers, where people up in Maine are just nice people.
There may be an element to that, but the point of where they put it in the narrative of the story was he has tried to escape out of Dallas at this point, and he's heading back up to Maine to basically go back through the portal that'll take him back to the present. And he has second thoughts along the way, and so what's along the way? Kentucky. So he doesn't ever get all the way back to Maine. And so I get it. They put that whole piece in Kentucky because they didn't want because of the way they were going to structure the miniseries. So I get that, but there's another thing that's coming up at the end of the second episode into the third episode where he seems to be getting a buddy that he didn't seem to have, that I don't recall him having in the book. And I'm trying to understand what the point of that is. Of course, maybe it's going to become obvious in the next episode. But I like adaptations.
Just chill till the next episode.
So that's what I watched a lot of stuff. I read a lot of stuff. I played some Civ 5 because I can't run Civilization 6, which was on sale this weekend.
What, on your brand new computer?
Can't run it on my brand new computer. My brand new computer's processor is too slow, and my old computer has too old a video card, even though it has a fast enough processor.
What?
That's
why PC gaming. I was just like.
Yeah, well, I want to tell you, my desire to get after last week we were talking about the Switch, my desire to get a gaming system in my house again was elevated because I was like, fuck this bullshit.
No, but still, there's planned obsolescence all the time. I mean, people.
Right? No, I get it.
People that bought the Wii U are kind of all kind of shafted because,
right?
And these are the people that were loyal to Nintendo.
I get it. I mean, what I'm saying is if I get a dedicated gaming thing, right, then at least for a couple of years, anything I get for that platform will play on that platform, right? Whereas if I have a Mac that I sometimes game on or a PC that I sometimes game on, within 2 or 3 years, the video card that's in my machine somehow isn't good enough. And of course, that's why people don't game on Macs. I get it. There's not a ton of games I want to play. Anyway, long story short, too late. I played 6 hours of Civ 5 on Wednesday.
That can really eat up a day, huh?
I was like, and it sated my desire to play any Civilization games. I was like, all right, because I can play Civ 5. I've played it. I played Poland, tried to win a cultural victory. The Germans declared war on me, as they're wont to do.
Yeah,
and it all worked out. But that was my Thanksgiving week, Steve. But I'm wondering if we should get into talking about your Thanksgiving week.
So, I could start with Wednesday.
Yeah, so that was my Civ 5 day.
Wednesday, Drinksgiving.
Drinksgiving.
Yeah, we didn't do anything crazy. Becky just wanted to stay in, and I ended up going out with a friend of the show, Matt.
Mm-hmm.
Had a couple of beverages with him and his wife. And shot the breeze, talked about old times and stuff. And we met in Acton, and he was driving down 27, getting local for you again.
Yeah.
And he was just like, "Oh my God, this is where this happened, and this is where that happened."
Yeah.
And so we went the opposite way recently, and we were driving by Kate's Corner.
Yeah.
And I was like,
donuts.
Re-explaining the donut heist to Becky. And how there was photo evidence on Will's website for a very long time of us committing a very minor crime.
I drive by there every day. It's like every
I don't
day
think
now and
they would be stupid to like because like we felt bad when we did it.
Yeah.
Like we took them and then we're like we each ate one and then we went and put it back. We're the not very good criminals.
Right. Well, you're robbing from the rich to give to your stomachs. I don't know. They're not rich at
Well,
Kingsville,
like it's funny because in the picture, Rob is the one we're kind of screaming at to grab it, and he's just standing there with the shrugged shoulders, like, "Huh?" It's like a really great picture, but it's genuine. He does not know what we're fucking pointing at for him to take.
Oh, I think I did see it way back in the day when it was on Will's website, but yeah.
Yeah, but we were just shooting the breeze and talking about old times and some people that were like, what the fuck happened to them?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's part of what like getting together with any friend from like high school ends up being about is even somebody that we do it every week.
I'm glad you and I are not the people that people are talking about that said what the fuck happened to them.
Yeah, no, they can figure out what happened to us.
No, I'm not in like where. So the what I'm saying is more where they went wrong.
Oh, okay, yeah. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And so I don't think either of us have ever gotten to that point where we like fucked up so bad.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
That we're like, holy shit, what happened to them?
Yeah. No, okay, so I'm glad you clarified that because I was going to say even people that I see fairly frequently from high school, still at least part of every conversation ends up devolving into like whatever happened to so and so.
Yeah,
like and it's just it's a thing that. It's just a part of every conversation, for better or worse.
Right. So, and then Thursday, Thanksgiving, did normal Thanksgiving stuffs.
Yeah.
I imagine you did the same.
Yeah, we were up in...
Your bro wasn't back, though, right?
No, he was in Japan.
What? Oh, for work? Or
yeah, for work. Yeah,
okay.
He was there for work well, actually, I think he was there for work for a little while, and then he stayed afterwards... for personal time.
Oh,
so
okay. I sent him a little message. I think he got it a day later.
Yeah.
Oh, if because they're like 10 hour or 10, 11.
Yeah, they're a ways ahead. Every time I think to send.
So if I texted him, he probably got it right before bed or like while he was sleeping or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so.
Yeah, but other than that, like no. So my brother wasn't around. We were up with my wife's family. And I'm not a big turkey person. So I love desserts.
You are a big turkey.
I am a big turkey. No, but I love Thanksgiving desserts a little too much. And I always end up making myself slightly sick by how much
you consume
Thanksgiving dessert.
Sugary, sweet garbage.
Yeah.
But delicious, nonetheless.
Yes, lemon meringue, blueberry pie, apple crisp, brownies.
You're not a pumpkin person.
Nah. Pumpkins are for decoration.
Okay. Well, I do like a pumpkin pie. I actually have some pumpkin cheesecake in the fridge.
Interesting.
It's vegan pumpkin cheesecake because Becky's sister made it.
Oh, okay.
And
so it uses cheese with a Z.
No, it's what is it? It's the Tofutti, I think has a fake cream cheese. And,
got it.
So you use that, and because you use cream cheese to make cheesecake, etc. And then
so it is good. Good vegan.
I haven't tried it.
Okay. Well,
I just had my 1-year anniversary of being like Captain No Sugar.
Well, I congratulations, Captain No Sugar. I thought you were telling me this
I'm Admiral No Sugar.
Admiral No Sugar. You just got a promotion. Do you get do admirals get different kinds of stars like generals? Like, so are you like a 1-star admiral round, or are you just like when you start as an admiral, do you have no stars?
I have no idea what like the Navy ranking system goes by. I mean, I know that Starfleet is based on the Navy ranks, but
and they have pips. Isn't that what those are called?
Yeah.
Pips.
Yeah, that's also the dots on a die.
That's what. Oh, I did not know that's what those were called.
Mm-hmm.
So 6 pips is a good thing.
That's a good roll.
Snake pips, not a good thing.
Snake eyes.
Oh.
So yeah, and then we did dinner at Becky's family. Mm-hmm. Pretty uneventful, which is all you can ask for in a Thanksgiving dinner, like
in a Thanksgiving dinner during this particular administration. That is pretty much
yeah.
all
I
you
mean,
can ask for.
like we had a very very nice. Fun little. I mean, I just talked about my pinball stuff for a little bit, and then we talked about some other things, and it was for the most part jovial, and then we got out of there before any sort of fights happened, and it was great.
That's always what you want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we went up and did my tradition of going up to Fun Spot.
Yeah.
And hanging out with our buddy Jules.
Hey, Jules.
And he like I don't know if he was cracking wise or if he was like just being a sap, but like he said, I have two Thanksgiving traditions that I really like, and I'm like, okay, what's that? He's like, well, Alice's Restaurant.
Yeah.
He says he had it. He listens to it on vinyl.
Oh.
Which is pretty great.
Yeah.
And then seeing us.
Oh.
And I'm like,
nice.
you fucker.
That's nice. That's
So, yeah,
being a nice guy.
Yeah, and then because I texted him earlier in the day, and I'm like, do you want us to bring you a plate or just some dessert? And he said, just dessert, please. And he was all excited because we were in fact coming.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Well, I'm sure he's
So,
a nice guy. He appreciates that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So whatever. It was cool. It was good to see him, and yeah.
Yeah.
We got home pretty late. I was sort of half asleep through the ride home, and then slept in.
On Black Friday. Is that racist? Call it Black Friday?
Yeah.
Black Friday?
I don't think so. No, I made that joke once, and someone
I know.
Someone tried to get me fired.
For making the... Is it... Oh, wow.
The joke that I made was like someone said, oh, it's Black Friday's coming up, and I'm like, actually, it's African American Friday.
Oh, God.
And I'm like, seriously?
And they tried to get you fired for that.
Well, she threatened it, but I think it was just an empty threat.
Yeah.
But I was like, seriously, like I am not like trying to marginalize people. Like I was making a bad PC. It was attacking people who are too PC and would say,
yeah,
never mind.
I you don't have to explain it to me. I got where you were coming from. Yeah, so you slept in on Black Friday.
Yeah, I actually slept till like 9:30, 10, which is like a miracle. Like I never get to sleep in that much. And like,
that's been my last few days too. I sleep until 9:30, 10. It's been glorious.
So and then we made a plans to go out on Friday. Rob came over here.
Rob came over. This sounds like more than just plans. It sounds like something miraculous was happening.
We went, and then we went to Rob. We did a little convoy to my dad's house. We checked out the Christmas lights that he had set up and hung out there for a little bit. Then went up the road to a little restaurant called The Establishment.
The Establishment,
which is pretty brand new, I guess, but used to be called something else.
Even though it's called the Establishment, sounds like it's been there for a while.
Yeah, it's very very not established establishment. And we went there for my 20-year high school reunion.
No shit, really?
Yep.
Was that convincing that it sounded like you were telling me that for the first time?
Yeah, no.
Let me try again. No shit, really? It's already been 20 years?
Yeah, well, you went to yours 2 years ago, and so.
Oh, that's right.
I felt it would be good for the show.
No, I guess that remains to be seen.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, truth be told,
yeah,
it was all right. It wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad.
I did there wasn't like anything crazy.
Uh-huh.
I think we interacted with some people, or I interacted with some people that used to listen to the show until I said something that pissed them off. So if you decide to tune back in, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Write us an email.
It's something you said, not something I said.
It might have been something you said, but I'm assuming.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry too.
Okay. Well, I'm assuming it was something that I said because I tend to say things that are tend to be less popular.
Okay. Well, I would love to know what it was and what we could do to make up to this person.
Yeah, I mean, if you disagree with us, don't just stop listening. Just be like, hey guys. This is why, just say, this is why I disagree with you, and try to come from a place of logic and not a place of emotion, and then be like, I like you guys, you're good people, but sometimes you say stupid things.
Sometimes.
Cut the shit with the stupid things. And then, that's the kind of, message that I can hear,
right.
and then kind of can translate into me becoming a better person.
Yes.
When someone says, you're dumb and an asshole and I hate you, and that I have that like contrarian in me that says go fuck yourself, and I'm gonna double down.
Yeah, well, I
and eat the chicken sandwich with like 2 pieces of chicken for Brad,
and bacon and cheese in the middle.
Bacon and cheese in the middle.
It's like Caligula shit right up in here. Drink.
So yeah, I mean, I went there, ran into some people that I hadn't seen in a while.
Did anybody tell you that you were the hottest guy in the room?
No, I did not.
Oh, man.
I mean, that being said, there was a lot of hot guys in our class.
Yeah.
Except just a lot of them don't really have any hair anymore.
That's nice though, isn't it? Like that's.
I have like most of my hair.
I got most of my hair. You got most of your hair, and all these guys who were like,
and it's not like my hair's not really gray. Yeah, it's pretty great.
All these guys who were like the establishment. See what I did there? Those guys are all fucking balding, and they probably got they probably gone to seed. That's what I'm a guess.
Yeah.
Maybe not. Maybe
I mean,
but at least we have our hair.
I'm just saying that I'm not the only person of our graduating class that still has hair.
I still have hair. Oh, that's good.
Yeah, there were guys with hair.
Okay, all right. Were they hot guys with hair?
I think so.
Okay, all right.
So I don't think I'm quite at that threshold. Okay, so even though.
Yeah.
There was some people just kind of chit chatted with. There's apparently someone works not far from where I do, so I might just stop in that general area, get a drink or something like that sometime.
Yeah.
It was just, for the most part pretty good.
Yeah.
There was somebody that ran up to me, and I'm gonna like. I don't know if this happened to you at yours, but she runs up and she's like, "Oh my God, Steve Woodbury," and I'm like, "Oh my God, you." And she's, she was like, "You don't remember me," and I'm like, "Did not really. I'm sorry." And even right before the show, I was kind of flipping through my yearbook for this person.
Yeah.
And I looked at her picture and I was just like,
no recollection at all.
No. And she's like, we went to kindergarten together. We went to Westlands for 5 years or whatever else. How long of it, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, she's just listing off things. And I'm like, no, nothing. Sorry. But it's like, I could have come back and been like, hey, who did I hang out with like most of the time in high school? Like, when did we last interact? I mean, Jesus Christ. Like, if you're talking about like elementary school shit, like I don't remember most things prior to like 1988, 89. Right. Like,
I don't. I'm
that
right
like probably about a couple of months back when I watched that video game documentary, like the time where I started remembering, like, because like they were talking about like video games, and like I remember playing Atari and like certain games from there, but like the when I started remembering like ad campaigns and remembering shit, like was around like 1988, 89. I think around when like Super Mario Brothers 2 and like Zelda 2 came out. I think around then was when I
that's I'm
87, 88, 89, somewhere around there.
Yeah, and I obviously as somebody who's a couple years older, my solid memories start a couple years earlier than that. But yeah, I'm right there with you. So if somebody came up to me and was talking to me about elementary school exclusively, I wouldn't have.
I remember spending time on the bus. Like she apparently was on our bus.
Oh. Okay.
Like, because like I remember hanging out with you and John on the bus, but like I do not remember much else because of that. And maybe it's because I like still interact with the both of you.
Right. Yeah. So
we have that ability to be like, hey, do you remember like drawing comics on the bus in elementary school? And I'm like, yes.
And we can. I don't know if I have the equivalent. I know that my friend Brendan, when he heard the way that I told the hottest guy in the room story way back, he said that one of the things I forgot to mention that made it funny was that there was a girl who came up to me and was a woman,
some lady,
who was chatting me up, and who got my name wrong.
Somebody did that to me, I think, at some point, but I just brushed it off.
And
I'm wearing a name tag with my name on it.
Or she couldn't remember my name or something like that. And so like that, Brendan tells that story way better than I do. But basically that there was somebody who came up to me, like didn't run up to me, but
she like literally ran up to me and she was so excited to see me. And I'm like, I don't remember you at all.
There's not.
And I feel kind of bad. And it's actually kind of been weighing on me like for the past couple of days. And I'm like, should I have known this person? And then I'm like, I'm trying to think. I'm like, when we had an interaction, I'm like, nothing. So I'm like, I did like the more I think about it, the less bad I feel about it because like, and then like when we were like getting close to leaving, like we're standing outside. Or outside of like we were in the upstairs area of this place, and like we were standing outside the door there, and we were gonna head out because we were heading to the Hong and Kong for the after party. Which was not much of an after party, but it was fine. It was. She was just like, I can't believe you don't remember me. And she's talking to Becky, and she's like, you are a saint for dealing with this guy.
Wait, that's
and
not
I'm
the
like,
way to make
what?
an impression. Like,
I'm like, Jesus
you were
Christ.
just telling me how awesome I was a little while ago.
Well, I just. It's just we like I like Becky and I were talking about this before you arrived.
Yeah,
and I think she is one of those people that just thought that everybody like she was like friendly with everybody and blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
but because of that, I mean she obviously probably had a like tight-knit group of friends.
Sure, yeah.
My tight-knit group of friends, like I had two of them there.
Yeah, right.
And them being Rob and Bill. The rest of them, like I think the only one that probably could have made it would be Paul, and I don't think he would have gone.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like, so like because she was nice to a bunch of people, she thought that she maybe made an impression to like other people, and she didn't. Like, and plus,
just goes to show you what being nice gets you.
Yeah,
nobody remembers you when you're nice.
You have to be a prick.
It's fun, like that.
You really do like people will like.
People will remember. People remember pricks.
Like I mean, there was people that like sort of remember. Like I think some people we talked a little bit about the New Sweethearts and stuff. I talked with this kid John about getting drunk in the woods, and he doesn't remember a second of it. Like, whatever, maybe because we got drunk in the woods. And some. Just some other things like the news show, like me coming home on the fucking thing.
That on the news, like the local news,
no,
high school news.
It was actually in the high school.
Yeah,
so it was like every Wednesday during homeroom they did a news program,
right?
And I often either did was one of the anchors for the news program, or I was a field reporter doing stories, which were often not stories. It was just me, like like stealing a bit from Weird Al, like doing like a fake interview with Ozzy Osbourne. Which there was this one part like that, like I remember getting censored so many times when I tried to do things. There was
the establishment just don't understand.
There was a part where like the line was, "Hey Ozzy, do you want to know what I have in my pants?" And he goes, "I don't want to know." And I it's like, it's a bologna sandwich. And I just start eating it. And so instead they made me edit it. So it says, "Do you know what I want to have in my hand?" Which still,
that's not that much better.
Yeah. Like, and I'm like, whatever. But like when we were dubbing over that line, I made someone else do it. Yeah, and I made them do it badly, so it was blatantly obvious we had to overdub that line. And I'm like, it's not going to be me. And I think it was this kid Justin Peroni. That was the one.
Oh, that name sounds very familiar. Okay.
Yeah, him and his brother, like there were so many twins in our class. I don't think any of them were at the reunion, but there was a lot of different twins. Sets of twins. Right. I remember, and then I saw the kid that sat behind me in homeroom for like every year, and I'm like, I was going to walk up to him and say, "Hey, how's it going? Don't recognize me?" And then I was going to turn around.
Which would work because you still have your hair.
Yes. Oh, but the thing is, like, it's weird because Will should have been the person that sat behind me in homeroom, but like they split like everybody up.
Right. Yeah, that is.
So like into halves. So like like somebody like me, Woodbury. Will, I'm not going to say Will's last name, just
right? But
he wants some sort of anonymity.
But
his last name is very similar.
In the corner of the alphabet is yours.
Yeah. And he should have been the person that sat right behind me.
Right. Yeah. That's strange.
Yeah.
Now, did you have? You were just mentioning a funny anecdote. Did you have people come up to you? I mean, did you have other people sort of come up to you other than the person who ran up to you who were like, "Steve, I remember you. You were really funny," or anything like that?
I don't know.
No.
I remember, like, it's funny because like there was some people I have interacted with like since. Like, what was it? This guy Christian. Like back when I used to work at Hannaford's like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Like he would go shopping on Sundays, and I would just shoot the breeze with him when I'd see him and whatever. And I think I actually might have said something that hurt somebody's feelings when I was interacting with him. And he goes, "Hey, what's going on? I miss seeing you at the grocery store." And I'm like, "Yeah, I have a real job now. I don't work at the fucking grocery store anymore." And I think someone standing nearby still works at a grocery store. And I immediately I said it, and I'm like, "Fuck."
I do that sort of put your foot in your mouth stuff all the time.
I think I did it later, and I forget exactly what I said. But I was like, "Fuck!" I think I did it again.
I did it at a rehearsal for one of those big ensemble things those evening of theater things that I did for a couple of years, and I made some joke that was a private sort of in joke between a bunch of us who had done the previous one. And I made it too loudly, and the person next to me, he's like, the person that you're making fun of is actually over there now. And I had no idea that they were still involved. I thought we were safe. We could, I'm really talented at making an ass of
I was hoping, and he wasn't there. I wanted to see. I'm actually going to say his name because I'll promote his band, and then maybe you can figure out if he still exists somewhere.
Is a guy with a band. Not the New Sweethearts.
It's not the New Sweethearts. He's like actually in a band that exists now.
Oh, okay.
So there's a fucking Twitter. His band's name is Sturdy Moss.
Sturdy Moss. I remember you mentioning it.
Did we actually talk about it on the show?
Was
that something we talked about right before the show?
I can't remember it. Yeah.
There's this kid, Mike Freeman, that I really like. There's like, songs on the New Sweethearts album that are making fun of him. But like, I bear no ill will, and I hope he doesn't bear any ill will towards me. I think I saw him like maybe once after high school, and I kind of was hoping he would be there so I could be like, "Dude, what's going on? I want to see your fucking band."
Yeah.
But like the last time they played was in July at like the Gardner Ale House, and I'm like, "What the fuck? Did your band break up?"
Yeah,
and I'm like, I'm hoping he's not like dead.
Oh no, that's yeah. Hopefully not that. We've had now. That's the other part of reunions and whatever is like who's died, and that's the morbid part of. We had a number of people who have died since 22 years ago. And I remember that. I remember the old principal from before we were even there. It was my dad's principal, or my dad's math teacher, who later became principal, Simonian, trying to recruit me at the 4th of July because the Alumni Association always has a booth at the 4th of July. And the way he tried to recruit me once was, "Hey, check it out. If you were subscribed to the newsletter, you'd know about all these people in your class who died." And that was, and
is that something that they just re-inform everybody just in case you're just a new subscribers?
No, I mean, I think somebody had recently died. And
these are the people that have died in the last 10 years, and these are the people that have died really recently.
Yeah. But I mean, and then within the next couple of years, we did have a guy in our class who had been in a band who died, and yeah, so yeah, that's one of those things you're like, I hope they're still around, even if they do hate me. I would like them to still be around and making music or making whatever they do.
Maybe. I don't think he hates me, but
well, I'm talking about me
because of some silly songs back in 1996.
Yeah, 1996 is an age ago. It was an age ago. It was 20
years ago.
21 years ago.
There we go. But yeah, like aside from like the I'll refrain from using her name at all, just so if she somehow figures out, she's like, I'm doing research on Steve Woodbury because he doesn't remember me. I'm gonna make him remember. Oh, Jesus Christ.
You will remember me.
Yeah, and then she starts listening to the show, and she's like, what the fuck is his problem? Gets more mad at me. Yeah, like aside from that, Becky was sort of I was talking around, and she was occasionally finding a displaced spouse to chat up
or whatever. Yeah.
while I was talking to some other people. While I was waiting to get a drink or whatever.
Yeah, I was going to ask you how that worked because Stephanie didn't come with me to mine. But plenty of spouses and boyfriends, girlfriends, partners were there, and that seemed to be what ended up happening. Is they're
like, hey, we don't know any of these people. We don't know each other,
and
so we'll make new friends,
right? Yeah,
with these other folks.
Yeah.
So yeah, Becky did that a couple of times. A lot of times she was around me, but this particular time, I think she was purposely kind of sticking where she was because there was there was a fight happening, and it wasn't a physical fight.
Yeah,
there was a booth full of some ladies, and they were one of them was apparently said something shitty about someone dying or something like that, and then it was just this big fight between that person and the three others and whatever, and so I mean. The only what I didn't hear any of it because one, I'm getting old and deaf,
right,
and two, I even if I was even close to it, I probably wouldn't have been able to make a lot of what they were saying without standing right next to them like, hey guys, what's going on, having a fight?
I think you should have done that.
Then I might have got punched.
Were they intoxicated? Could you tell?
I'm assuming they were.
Okay.
I had some drinks, but I didn't go fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to perhaps get into a fight where somebody I unintentionally zinged by standing nearby them.
Like the person who still works at the grocery store.
Yeah. So I'm sorry if you decided to pick up the podcast, and the being a groceryer is a noble profession, and it's something that I may still be doing if I didn't luck out and end up in the career path that I currently am.
You might be listening to podcasts while doing cart duty out in the parking lot too.
Right? Yeah. Oh my God! If I was still fucking shagging carts at fucking 38, I would fucking. I don't know how happy I would be with my life.
If I became it'd all be robots by this point, but that was one of those jobs I saw all the older guys who had retired, but they still needed some money. They came back and they did that job too.
Yeah, when I was at Hannaford's, they.
So I could be one of those guys. I wouldn't mind, But at 38 or 40 doing it, then I.
But yeah, the some of the old timers, they I remember we switched from being Shop and Save to Hannaford's,
right?
And so there was this green sort of jacket that we wore when it was Shop and Save.
Okay, yeah.
But then when it changed over to Hannaford's, we all got these aprons that were maroon aprons.
You went to aprons, okay.
Yeah. And so he refused to wear the apron. He just put on a shirt and tie and that green jacket, and he brought it in the water. For years afterwards, he did not. He was just like, "What the fuck? I'm not wearing this goddamn vest, or not vest, but a apron." He was just like, "Whatever." And he had this thing had these little pockets on the side, and he would have nips in it, and he'd sneak into the break room, take a nice pull.
Oh, I love old guys.
And then and then. Just chat people up while he was sacking their groceries or getting carts or whatever.
But
he would never get too many carts at the same time. That's what for the young people.
The young bucks.
Yeah, they can get see if I can get fucking 10 carts at once. And
He's like,
little chain that you can pull them with, whatever.
Oh, that bullshit. Yeah, no, I remember when I worked at Purity Supreme, the best named grocery store ever.
Taco Supreme.
I had to do. It was. I think it was always aprons. Maybe at some point it wasn't, but mostly I remember aprons.
And I think I forget if Becky interacted with like the people that weren't yelling at the or no, I think somebody like talked to one of the other people that was in like the verbal altercation, and I think the direct quote was "fuck that cunt."
Now see, because cunt is a word that was used at my own reunion by the woman who told me that I was the hottest guy in the room. She was saying that all these other people in here are cunts. That was her quote. It's just like not a word that I expect to encounter because we're not in Britain where like it has a different connotation.
Well, I mean, it all depends on like the circles you run in, because like that's something that like we have said for years, and it's not something that I will go and say something to someone I know, because I like the people I know for the most part, and but yeah, like I'll just be like I'll scream at somebody from my car with the window shut that they're a cunt. Regardless of their gender, mind you.
Yeah, I which is what our British forebears do.
Right.
Yeah.
I think, and that's that. I think that, like Bill Burr uses it a lot. I think that's another thing. Like I'm talking about Bill Burr.
Yeah. I saw a trailer for something with him in it within the last couple of days. I don't remember what it was. Anyway.
Okay. So he uses it often, and you bunch of cunts. And he's not necessarily just talking about women. So
no, it's an equal opportunity word. Yeah. At least the British version of it, where it's just like you're being a jerk.
Yeah, but this particular person was not using the British version.
Yeah,
they were very much.
Oh, they were very much.
It was a lady calling another lady a cunt.
Yeah, I don't want to get in the middle of that.
I didn't either, but I wish I had sort of been able to be a fly on the wall on that and been able to hear it.
Yeah, I mean, like those sorts. I don't know if I would want to. Any kind of confrontation like that just makes me nervous.
A little tense.
Even if it has nothing to do with me, I don't want to be around it.
So yeah, we went to. After I'm accosted by a person saying, "Why don't you remember me twice?" Like I still don't remember you. When you went, did you run into people that you didn't remember?
I ran into people that I did not remember at first, and then they jogged my memory. But most of them,
she didn't do anything to jog my. She was like talking about shit from fucking 30 years ago.
No, they jogged the people I ran into who I didn't necessarily recognize. If they jogged my memory, they were jogging my memory with stuff from high school. From high school.
Yeah. So I'm like. Yeah, I'm like, oh, we did. You did something like some crazy shit, like I don't know.
I can believe. I shit.
Like, but the thing, there's reasons why like someone might remember me, at least from that last year of high school, because I was on the television every fucking Wednesday, doing something fucking wacky or some fucking where's the bucket or some fucking nonsense. Or doing that thing where I tried to get please pass the milk please caught in everybody's head, which succeeded. Like I was doing like Andy Kaufman shit, and I just watched that documentary with Jim Carrey and Andy Kaufman, and Jim Carrey's a nut.
I can imagine.
Holy shit, is he a nut? Like when they were like showing, it was basically a documentary of that production of Man on the Moon, and he refused to be referred to as Jim. Like he was just like, I gotta be like Tony Clifton or I gotta be Andy Kaufman, and I am that guy. Yeah, and I'm like, I understand being method, but like Jesus Christ, guy.
Yeah.
You are a person, and like you are like trying to convey. I mean, he did a good job as Andy Kaufman, I guess, because he thought he was him.
It's.
But yeah, so back to. But yeah, like there's a reason why people might remember me, a guy who's like for the most part in high school is pretty unremarkable and not so memorable.
Right.
But like that last year we were there was shit that like people could have been like, oh yeah, that fucking guy. He did that.
He got that song stuck in my head.
He got that song stuck in my head, or he did that wacky thing that kind of made me laugh once, like.
But that's not what you were. It was for kindergarten.
Yeah, it was freaking like. You remember kindergarten? No, I don't remember a second of kindergarten. I don't remember the name of my kindergarten teacher, or my first grade teacher, or my second grade teacher.
Yeah,
I remember my third grade teacher because I ran into her when I did like student government day thing where we went to the Chelmsford Town Hall.
Oh, okay.
And she was like no longer teaching and she was working there.
Yeah.
But then like I know the other second grade teacher because I am. The one that I didn't have because I'm friends with her daughter and her son.
There you go.
So like, it's just like, the things you remember is, don't necessarily,
Yeah.
I don't remember, like, I don't remember my fourth grade teacher's name, my fifth grade teacher's name. They made quite an impression on me.
Yeah, no, there's a bunch of them I could not name for you.
Like when I, like it's like middle school is when I start remembering, like,
I remember some from middle
That's
school.
when like solid memories start, like, like, elementary school, it's like bits and pieces here and there, and it's mostly around you guys.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I couldn't anyway. Yeah, I couldn't tell you the names of most of my teachers from Chelmsford.
And then what was it? So we ended up at Hong Kong.
Mm-hmm.
There was an interesting cross section of people that were there that weren't us.
Yeah.
We ended up just occupying the booths right as you're walking towards the bar area. Mm-hmm. And there was like a bunch of golden oldies. Mm-hmm. And there was a DJ playing an odd mix of people or an odd mix of music that didn't seem appropriate for the clientele that was there.
Yeah. Like
it was a lot of hip hop, and I'm like, the old people in here don't want to listen to hip hop. Right. And there was like some hipsters there, and I'm like, okay, yeah. They maybe they're just back together, like, oh, let's go to this fucking towny bar. And then there was like just, I don't know, it just didn't seem.
That's what I recall about our excursion to the Hong Kong after my reunion.
Yeah, it just didn't make sense.
The music didn't make sense. It didn't make sense who I was sitting with. Like these are people that I kind of knew, but really didn't. Including one guy who picked on me all through elementary school.
Yeah, I don't think there was like any of the people that picked on me when I was up until I think. What was it? Freshman year is when I think that shit stopped.
Yeah. So anyway, it seems like it's tradition to go to the Hong Kong afterwards, but
I did not break with tradition.
Yeah, but
and we just sat, talked about stuff.
Yeah. That's kind of what happened with ours, and then then somebody decided to tell me I was hot again.
Look at you, Chris. Yeah, I had someone telling me I was hot, and it was the person that I'm with. So
that's what really matters. Mm-hmm. I wish the person I was with would tell me I was hot every once in a while. Oh. I'm just kidding.
Do you want me to talk to Stephanie?
No, she does. But she could tell me I was hot like every day of the week for the rest of my life, and I still wouldn't believe it.
Well,
because it's my pride.
I don't want you to think the wrong thing here, Chris. But you're not a bad-looking guy.
Oh, thanks, Steve. Well,
you don't have to say it back to me or anything.
I don't. Good. I know. I'm surprised that nobody came up to you and was like, "Steve, you're a very attractive fellow. You have all your hair."
Somebody did say you look exactly the same, and I'm like, "No, I don't."
It's like I don't know if I want to be told.
Apparently,
that.
I have aged. Like you could have just said I've aged well, but I don't look fucking exactly the same. I was like. I have a beard now. I had no facial hair there until my mid-20s was when I started being able to grow a decent beard.
You look exactly the same as one of like the 3 or 4 buttons that like I don't know. I imagine most of these people as like Woody dolls, or not buttons, but like if you pull their string.
There's a snake in my boot.
There's a snake in my boots. So like you look exactly the same. That's one of like the 3 or 4 things that they can say.
Oh, okay. Well,
And I think it may mean what you're talking about, which is that you have aged well.
Okay.
But that's not in their program.
Yeah, why don't you just say, hey, wow, you look great.
Yeah, that would be good. Hey, Steve, you look great.
Thanks, Chris. You also look great.
You can find the show notes for this episode at clarkwitz.com/hot/174. And if you are just joining us and would like to comment on anything we've said or correct Steve on his memories of his own reunion,
or correct me on my memories of my
of your life
of my kindergarten years. Oh wait, I don't have any of them. So just tell me shit that happened in kindergarten.
Yes, we'd love to hear that. You can send that by email to hot@clarkwitz.com, or you can tweet us. I'm at ECC1977.
And I'm at Tuesday is Loser. That's Tuesday IS Loser. All one word, buddy.
Can we just go back to telling each other we're attractive until we're making out on your futon?
No.